Doug, we're at Oracle Industry Connect in Orlando. Thanks for sitting down and talking to Appledore Research Group about some of the trends that you see going on in the communications marketplace. I want to start out by the keynote that you gave yesterday. You were talking about the now economy, which is really about how operators can take advantage of digital-based services, digital collaboration. From your point of view, what do you think service providers need to do to position themselves for digital-based economy services?
Yeah, so it's a really great question, and I am certain that the service providers have opportunity, and like you said, they're changing the technologies that they have in place, or enabling their networks for this digitalization and personalization. What I think is the biggest opportunity is to really provide a deeper, more personalized experience for the customer. Mm-hmm. And doing that, I think there needs to be more customer interaction on the client. I think the client capabilities need to become more rich, rather than have a customer go to a portal and interact, or maybe call a service agent for interaction around their services, adding services or changing services. Right. It needs to be something that the subscriber can do very easily right. on their own, and that provides that rich customer experience that I think in a recent survey we did said the execs, there's 300 execs in the U.S. said that they were going to be able to increase their revenue substantially by increasing the personalization and customer experience. And I think that begins with that rich client interacting with the network. Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about your background, Doug. You came in through the Telecommunication acquisition. You've got tremendous experience on the technical side, in understanding protocols like SIP, SS7, diameter. You're a hardcore networking guy. Oracle also has other assets through acquisitions and what they've developed on their own in the IT space, as well as what we would consider the OSS, BSS domain. Can you talk a little bit about how you're going to bring all those assets together to take advantage of things like cloud, NFV, SDN? This is a journey that operators will be making over the next 10 to 15 years.
Sure. Yeah, it's actually really exciting. Coming in as a network guy, I've always looked over the wall at these IT assets that I knew I was going to need. Things like big data and analytics. I didn't own those assets.
Right, right.
And so it was very difficult to be able to use that. I didn't have any OSS assets, so how was I going to do orchestration in this new world? So I knew as I was evolving my path in Telecommunication that I was going to have to partner for it, or acquire for it, or in this case, be acquired. I think it's a brilliant strategy with IT and the networks coming together that Oracle recognized this early, snapped up a couple of key leaders in the network market, got that network DNA in, and then my really first priority after taking over the business unit last May was to actually bring all three of these businesses together as one. So now we have a common architecture, a common R&D team, a common sales team, so we can actually design, build, and actually sell the whole portfolio of products. So there's really three areas there that we focused on. The first is orchestration. So how do we seamlessly help our customers move from their on-premise hardware provisioning and inventory management into virtual software-based inventory and provisioning and activation. So, and that allows customers really to have a hybrid approach as they transition from the more bare metal to more virtualized networks. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I think, is around monetization. So Oracle had assets around billing and some charging, but they didn't have policy assets. Now we've done is we've brought policy to PCRF, online charging, billing, and then all the signaling infrastructure that you need to be successful with monetization, now all together in one business. And now we're extending that to the cloud. So now our service provider customers have, for the first time, have the opportunity to actually monetize their networks in a cloud-based architecture. That's the second thing. And the third thing is around the enterprise. never could sell to the enterprise.
Right.
Acme Packet did a little bit with their enterprise SBC,
Mm-hmm.
but now what we've done is we've brought together all the enterprise applications, the richest set of enterprise applications in the world from Oracle. And we're tying in all the real-time communication services and infrastructure as a service in the cloud. And so when you go to implement an enterprise application, you can get real-time communication services or communications-enabled enterprise applications right there in the Oracle Cloud. And our business is helping to put that communication service in the Oracle Public Cloud to really provide our enterprise customers with a very rich end-to-end experience as well.
Okay, great. One other area that you noted yesterday in your keynote is you survey your customer base a lot. One of the things that came up fairly high was the ability to actually utilize data analytics. Mm-hmm. And I'm just wondering if you can share with us what you're seeing in the customer base in terms of a business case that's a slam dunk that allows the operator to sort of push forward ahead and take advantage of the network data that you're providing, the back-end customer care, billing type data, and then any integration you're doing with partners to bring that all together. So you're providing the data ingestion, the data management, with Oracle's large install base on the database side, but also now as we move into analytics, this is another tremendous opportunity. What are some of the business cases that you think need to be made in the marketplace?
It's a really good question. And again, as I mentioned, analytics is something that I was always dreaming that I could actually have the raw assets to use. Oracle has a wealth of capability in that area. So the first area is really around network optimization. So you're
Mm-hmm.
right, we do see all this, signaling and control messages in the network for the
Right,
most part.
right.
We actually capture those. We can actually, get them off board and get them into a big data or even a structured data format, depending on how the customer wants to use it. And then be able to use that analytics capability on that network data to not only optimize their network, but eventually with orchestration, that will be an analytics feedback that will allow a customer to easily, or maybe even in a zero-touch manner, provide management of the elasticity of their network.
Mm-hmm.
So, you start predicting when you need to increase capabilities in a virtual function. That feedback mechanism comes in through your orchestration layer. You substantiate a couple of new VNFs for that additional capacity, and vice versa, you shrink it. So getting into a zero-touch automated environment is really one way, and that's through that sort of network optimization and analytics. The second one is around customer experience. So you're right, we have a lot of data around billing. We have data around policy, what policies are being executed, what applications that the customers are actually running real time in the network, and we do that with our policy event record. We take the real time use of the network and the applications the customer is using, and we can actually dump that into a big database as well. Marry that up with billing information and really provide a total picture of the customer's usage. And then maybe even the third area then is really around predictive analytics and how do you take that data then and maybe offer the customer new packages, new services, mm-hmm. new offers, based on the behavior that you're seeing. And then working with other companies that maybe have marketing feeds, so that there might be a case where you have a zero-rated data for some sort of marketing or transaction that might happen on a portal or on a website that will allow that data usage to be zero-rated, so the customer doesn't actually have to pay for it, and that all ties in as well. With that analytics. And there are partnerships, there are companies out there that have those ties into the marketing interfaces into that capability. And so that's certainly an opportunity as well.
Yeah, okay. So final question for you, just on a follow-up mm-hmm. on the analytics. So you'd mentioned network optimization, so I think about network planning and design. You mentioned operations, you mentioned marketing. customer care is another area that we see. Of the 4 areas or potential buyers of Oracle solution, is there one that's sort of, one area that's sort of at the top of the list based on the deals that Oracle's doing now?
Actually, I think it's spread evenly across all 3 of those right now, because we have, we're actually, even products that we don't actually sell in the network, we're providing analytics for other products from competitors.
Okay.
So I'm seeing an even spread around, the customer experience, the network optimization, and even the, kind of the predictive side of the customer experience.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Doug.
Thank you.